Stop what you're doing. An AI has just cracked open the world's historical archives, exposing a secret so profound it's about to rewrite everything you thought you knew about our history. What if the ancient world wasn't ancient at all? What if civilizations we dismiss as primitive were, in fact, powered by technologies we're only just rediscovering? Join us on a journey through the shocking digital discoveries of suppressed technologies that could have, and perhaps should have, changed the entire course of humanity. What if everything we thought we knew about history was a lie? Imagine a past where the Roman Empire wasn't just built on legions and aqueducts, but on principles of electricity. Picture ancient Egypt, not just with pyramids, but with devices that harness the very air for power. This isn't science fiction anymore. These are the visual outputs from a groundbreaking new AI, and they are chillingly plausible. This isn't just a reimagining, it's a digital reconstruction based on lost data. The architect of this chaos is an AI codenamed Chronoscan 7.0. It wasn't built to find conspiracies. It was designed for the mundane task of digitizing and cross-referencing millions of obscure historical documents, patents, and forgotten scholarly articles. Its primary function was to find connections, to see patterns no human historian could ever spot in 1,000 lifetimes. And it found one. The initial anomaly wasn't a smoking gun. It was a whisper, a recurring, statistically impossible pattern of deleted footnotes and redacted schematics across centuries of scientific and engineering texts. Chronoscan 7.0 flagged a consistent, surgical removal of specific technological concepts, a pattern of erasure that pointed not to accident, but to deliberate suppression. The AI had stumbled upon a carefully curated timeline, and it was about to pull the thread. The first thread it pulled unraveled a reality that echoes with the ghosts of a lost future. Deep within the archives of the early 19th century, long before the accepted narratives of automotive history, Chronoscan 7.0 uncovered something impossible: detailed blueprints for a steam-powered personal vehicle. We're not talking about a clunky, locomotive-style contraption. These were elegant, almost modern designs from the 1830s, complete with differential gears and a rudimentary suspension system predating Carl Benz's official invention by over half a century. They were attributed to a forgotten inventor, a name scrubbed from the mainstream records, mentioned only in the margins of censored trade journals. As the AI processed the data, it didn't just show us dusty old schematics. It generated stunning photorealistic renders of these machines thundering down the cobblestone streets of Victorian London. We can now see what was stolen from us: sleek, brass-fitted carriages gliding silently, powered by a highly efficient, compact steam engine that was decades ahead of its time. It was a vision of an alternate industrial revolution, one that promised personal mobility for the masses long before the age of Ford. So why did it vanish? The established narrative credits later inventors, men who were backed by powerful industrialists who stood to gain from controlling the slow, methodical rollout of transportation. This earlier, more democratic vision of transport would have disrupted nascent railroad monopolies and oil investments. Chronoscan's analysis suggests the patents were bought and buried, the inventor discredited, and history rewritten to serve the interests of a powerful few. This wasn't a failure of innovation. It was a hostile takeover of the future. Just as we were grappling with the implications of a lost automotive age, Chronoscan 7.0 dropped a second bombshell, something even more fundamental. It unearthed evidence of an advanced agricultural device from the late Renaissance, a period we associate with art and exploration, not high-tech farming. The AI pieced together fragmented texts, alchemical notes, and anatomical drawings to reveal what appears to be a sonocatalytic plow. This device, described in cryptic terms, allegedly used focused sound frequencies to aerate soil and stimulate root growth on a cellular level, drastically increasing crop yields with minimal effort. It sounds like something from a modern tech startup, not the 1500s. The what-if scenario is staggering. If this technology had been adopted, the great famines that swept across Europe in the following centuries might never have happened. The mass migrations, the political instability, the very economic foundations of feudalism could have crumbled centuries earlier under the weight of universal food abundance. It would have been a global agricultural revolution 500 years ahead of schedule. The paper trail is faint, but undeniable once you know where to look. Chronoscan 7.0 flagged it in the footnotes of botanical treatises, described as sympathetic resonance for plants, and in the private letters of a disgraced philosopher who was accused of heresy for his unnatural agricultural methods. The evidence suggests his research was seized and classified by religious authorities who feared that a technology capable of ending starvation would undermine the very power structures that relied on controlling resources and, by extension, the populace. This inevitably leads to the darkest question of all. Who benefited from this silence? Who were the architects of this grand erasure? Chronoscan 7.0's analysis points not to a single, shadowy cabal, but to a recurring pattern of human behavior. The culprits are the gatekeepers of every era, industrialists protecting their empires from disruptive technology, governments preserving monopolies on energy and power, and academic and religious institutions defending established dogma against inconvenient truths. In the case of the steam car, it was railroad and oil barons. For the sonocatalytic plow, it was landed gentry and church authorities who understood that a well-fed, independent populace is a populace that is difficult to control. Their methods of erasure were as insidious as they were effective. It wasn't always violent suppression. Often it was the slow, quiet death of an idea. They bought and buried patents, a practice that continues to this day in the tech and pharmaceutical industries. They engaged in academic character assassination, branding brilliant inventors as cranks, heretics, or frauds. They used the slow, grinding gears of bureaucracy and historical revisionism, ensuring that textbooks and official records only told the story that served their interests, allowing these world-changing innovations to simply fade into obscurity, dismissed as myths or the ramblings of madmen. You don't have to look far to see the modern parallels. Think of the fierce battles over intellectual property for life-saving drugs, or the alleged suppression of more efficient battery technologies that threaten the fossil fuel industry. It's the same story, just a different century. The cumulative impact, the ripple effect of these lost futures is almost too vast to comprehend. Imagine a world where clean, localized energy wasn't a 21st century goal, but a 19th century reality. Imagine a society where famines were historical footnotes by the year 1600, leading to a more stable, more populous, and potentially more enlightened world. How would our cities be different if personal transport had been available to everyone 150 years ago? How would human society, even our own evolution, have changed if we hadn't spent centuries battling scarcity that was, it seems, artificially maintained? Our entire technological and social timeline feels like a pale imitation of what could have been. This is a call to arms for your own curiosity. Chronoscan 7.0 has shown us that the official record is not the only record. It's time to question the established narratives we've been fed since childhood. It's time to dig into the footnotes, to chase the whispers in the margins of history, and to engage in the active discovery of our own past. The tools to do so are now more powerful than ever. We are standing on the precipice of a new era, where AI can serve as our guide through the labyrinth of lies we call history, unearthing the truths that have been deliberately hidden from us. This leaves us with one final provocative question. If an AI has already uncovered technologies that could have saved millions of lives and reshaped our entire civilization, what else is buried in our history, waiting to be found? And as these revelations continue to surface, are we finally ready to face the truth of what we were meant to be?